This is our workhorse, a Porsche Cayenne with over 250,000 miles on it.
It has towed almost every single car on this channel without fault, but now it needs some help. This Cayenne was bought for £400 and then immediately driven 1,000 miles to Germany and back, where it was hammered around an F1 track. Back in the UK, it then became our communal tow car, but while our other projects have received love and attention, the Cayenne has been neglected, slowly falling apart.
The exhaust has fallen off and is now melting the bumper.
The bonnet won't close, which means the wipers don't work.
It desperately needs a gearbox service.
And an engine service. It's even got a mystery engine light and is in desperate need of a clean. So today, we're going over this entire car to ensure that it makes it to the big 300k milestone. So the first thing we want to get to is the gearbox service. Now this does have a bit of an issue where you put it in gear, a drive or reverse, and the car goes,
hold on, that was what you were after?
There's one of two letters you're after. I think I'll just rev. So that's a bit of an issue. We don't know if this has ever had a service, so we need to take all this apart, drop the pan, we'll have a look at the filter that's in there, we'll also have a look at the oil that's in there, and then give it a proper service.
And while Will is doing the automatic transmission, I'm going to start on the brakes on this car, because this car's done 10 to 15,000 miles of brutal towing work, and I don't think they were changed before we got them, so I think it's probably high time to get the brake discs and pads changed, so I'm going to go on that. Now this car, when they bought it, came with a set of extra upgraded Cayenne wheels, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these wheels off, because these tyres aren't bad, but they have done a track day, they've had multiple puncture repairs, so it's probably time we switch to a new set of tyres. We'll have a nice little upgrade as well, because black wheels can't run. We've got Brembo brakes, which means that they have the easy pins for doing brake calipers. If you've never seen one of these before, usually you have to undo your brake caliper and pull the pads out. But for racing, motorsport teams, they don't want to have to do that if they're changing brake sets in endurance races. So you simply have this pin that goes through the middle. You slide the pin out, brake pads pop out, new ones in. Away you go, racing in your Cayenne on the track day.
With Edwin busy removing the old pads and cleaning the calipers, I was getting started on the gearbox service. This is the sump. This is where the oil from your gearbox is stored. So you have a drain, which is this tiny one here, and then the fill. You have a drain, and then a fill.
Sorry, just how do you fill that?
You turn the car upside down.
Yeah, so the proper procedure is you flip the car upside down first, and then you fill the gearbox and back upside down.
Please reverse the polarity of gravity, and then we can do the gearbox service.
Yeah. With the gearbox oil draining, Will decided to paint a rather interesting picture on how this old oil smelt.
It's like an old person who's just let off what they think is an innocent one.
Oh, sorry, I've had egg for tea.
So, this is the oil that came out. What you might be able to notice is that it's quite watery. We're just trying to lighten it, and looks all right. Next step is I'm going to take the sump off, take the filter off, and then we will go from there. Before we go any further with the Cayenne, this is a quick reminder that if you are buying a used car, you should always run a car vertical check.
That's right, because every single day, hundreds of cars get crashed, but some of them get put back on the road in an attempt to hide their shady past. But with a car vertical report, you can find out that dodgy history.
Now, all you need is a reg number, but if you don't have a reg number, like Rory's car, because it fell off while I was driving it somehow, you can also use the car's VIN, and a car vertical report will tell you if it's been crashed, stolen, or clocked.
Now, the Cayenne was so cheap, £400, that the guys didn't do a check. It probably would be fine even if it was written off. But thankfully for us, the odometer, finance, and damage are all green checks, so it's fine. Now, the other day, I went to go and look at a Fiat Abarth 500 for my girlfriend. Everything looked nice in the advert. There was no mention of damage at all. I asked the guy if he knew if it had ever been crash damaged or recorded on insurance. He said, I don't know. So I ran a car vertical check, and lo and behold, damage in mid-2023. I then told him about this. He stopped replying to the messages. Now, with this report, I chose not to buy the car, or I could have used it to get the price down to where it should be. So the next time you're looking to buy a car, van, motorbike, or really anything in between, make sure that you're on a car vertical check to make sure the price you pay for it matches its history.
And as an added bonus, Car Vertical are offering you guys 20% off when you use our code TDC. The pan is out. I'm just going to let the final bit strip down. That's oil on my hair. Again, doesn't look too bad. There are some sort of like magnetic bits in here, and although they've got a little bit of sludge on, that is relatively normal. And up here, we have got the filter. So that's what we've got, a new part we need to replace. This one doesn't look too bad, and in there, it doesn't look too bad, but we'll get it down and have a look. So 3 bolts, drop that down, and then we can start putting things back together and fill it up with oil.
Meanwhile, I was busy trying my best to remove the old brake discs, but that would involve removing the caliper, which wasn't proving to be easy. try to sneak up on it. He won't see me coming. So have you seen what's over there? No.
With the weight of both of us on the breaker bar, the bolt finally came loose. So the torque figure on that is 2 large men.
2 big guys.
Caliper off, I was now fighting to remove the brake disc until suddenly...
Whoa! Not only have we got that in there, we've actually got the piece of our T50. He's snapped off in there. Why do cars have to punish you when you're just trying to help them?
Meanwhile, I was fitting our new Febby Bilstein gearbox filter.
There we go. You can see in here, that's where we have to drill through all the way to get through that old bolt. It means we're not going to have one on the new one, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. I'm going to clean this up, get rid of all the metal shavings, you don't want those in your brakes, and then put it all back together.
I put the new filter in, I'm just going to let any remaining oil just drip down. But I've got the sump out, because this part here is what we're going to reuse. What I've just seen is how it works. So this part here, this massive plug, which is the fill, which didn't make any sense, because how do you fill from underneath? You fill up to here, and then the process you'll see later on is that you have to start the car, then the car will suck up all that oil into the gearbox and lubricate everything else, and then you have to fill it again. So basically the oil, when you're doing this process, never actually goes above this line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up all these magnet bits, get all this old oil out, and then that will be ready to go back on, fill her up with oil.
You might have noticed we've got a load of new orange tools from Neo. They've sent us out a load of new stuff, basically to redeck out our workshop after someone, they crashed into our toolbox? So we've basically been refilled with new tools. These ones are off limits to everyone else, but lots of cool stuff like this. These are hub cleaner. So you stick them on there. That's cool. Massive thank you to Neo Tools for sending all the stuff out. If you want to check out any of their range, you can see that down in the description, but you will see us using lots of their tools from now on because they were nice enough to just send them out to us. So cheers.
With that, we got the front brakes finished up and then moved on to the rears, where things were a little worse for wear.
The fronts didn't look so bad, but this one, they've seen better days. This is what's left of the bottom handbrake shoe.
There's a little groove there where he should be sat, and he's just gone, hee hee hee. Think I'll go up north for a while. I'll just nestle here, I think.
That's nice. It might seem like moments for you, but in reality, we have all collectively spent probably upwards of 45 minutes trying to get just these springs in. But alas, now, hopefully, moment of truth, clean.
Rear discs installed and handbrake adjusted accordingly, I put everything back together.
Just got to clean him up, chuck the caliper on, Cayenne, ready to go for another 260,000 miles.
Now is the process of filling. I sort of explained this earlier, but basically I need to get this guy up there, bend him around a corner a little bit, so I don't fill it and it just comes straight back down. So what I have done is fitted a bit of bendier hose. Again, there's going to be people in the comments going,
Porsche actually make the Scroggle hopper tool, which makes this very easy.
now I don't know if you've noticed, we aren't actually mechanics.
Ooh, this is a rarely seen move.
Fill up has to be a better way.
There is actually a much better way, I've just remembered. You may unscrew the top of that and pour it in.
So, final bit of the gearbox service now. So we've filled up some of it already, which we've done underneath, and now you have to start the car, weirdly, wait for the gearbox temperature to get up to around 40 degrees, or whatever particular degrees it is for said gearbox, and then I'll need to go into all the gears, and that gets the oil moving around the gearbox so that Edwin, who I've stolen and is underneath the car, can pump the oil back in until it starts to drip out, and then we will be full of oil, or due a gearbox failure. Despite this process sounding pretty straightforward, it was actually a massive pain in the arse and required all of us to make it happen.
Right, after hours worth of filling, that's what we all feel like right now. We've got it up to the temperature, filled it again. Will has made the ultimate sacrifice and got covered in everything. So Rory, you're in the car now. If you just put it in drive now, and now it goes. And now if you hit the brakes and now put it in reverse, he now understands what you tell him. It's not like speaking a different language and having a translator in the middle. Drive.
What do you mean by that? What about neutral?
Potentially, that's one of the biggest issues with this car fixed, and boy, didn't we pay for it. The next thing is an issue we've dealt with for a long time. You'll see here on this side, we have quite a nice little exhaust tip for this Cayenne. But then when you come over to this side, it's Bluetooth. The clamp under here on the back box snapped off, which meant the exhaust tip fell off while driving, I believe. Our exhaust shoots straight into the side of the bumper, which has just melted the bumper and now means it's just not really even connected. And if I was a policeman, I think one of the first first things I might notice is the bumper hanging off and the lack of an exhaust. We don't want to draw too much attention to it, so we're going to replace this bumper. We're going to try and polish this car up a little bit later, but I don't want to remove its battle scars. This has had 250,000, look, this dent, that's part of its history. So we want to repair the things that are dodgy looking, but not get rid of its battle scars. So we have bought another used bumper. This was, I think, something like £80. Will and I went and collected it up from a guy in London, and all we need from it is our bottom panel. It's not perfect, there are other little issues and bits. So I got to work removing the old lower bumper section, and before I could fit the new one, a visitor arrived to do something to this Cayenne which it desperately needed. We're here with Robin from Viking Detail.
Hello.
You've done some shit cars for us before.
I certainly have.
This might be the case.
This is really pushing it.
Yeah. Also, we did forget to mention this to you.
It's taped on.
This was to hold the bonnet down.
Ah. I thought German cars were supposed to be all nice and reliable and well built and stuff.
No. I don't know that this car's ever actually been cleaned
Only by what falls from the sky.
by the Lord himself.
All right, well, we'll crack on and start washing it first. We'll pre-wash with some snow foam and
Shampoo, conditioner.
shampoo, conditioner, yeah.
Come on then, let's go. You might be wondering why we're putting this much effort into a car that it's essentially worthless to anyone. This car is the reason TDC has been able to live. It's picked up every single car.
Better the devil you know sometimes.
Exactly.
We could throw him away and get some other cheap thing, and then that causes us issues. We know that one.
He is special.
Cayenne looking fresh again, Robin got to work making it shine, while I got busy with a much needed engine service.
We've done the oil change. We didn't film it because it got tough. It got dirty and disgusting down there, but we managed to do it. I'm going to get these air filters out first and then move on to the spark plugs. It looks like someone has fitted previously aftermarket style of air filter. These are meant to be lifetime air filters, so the theory is that you can just clean these out and then re-oil them. But sometimes the oils that you put in these can get sucked through and then your MAF or other sensors can get clogged up. So we're just going to replace them with some factory spec OE matching Febi filters, and away we go.
Meanwhile, Robin was making our fogged up, dirty headlights look brand new again.
The first spark plug has been removed. It doesn't look too bad, and also it is the correct spec one. It is exactly the same as what we're putting in. That is a Bosch plug. A Bosch is going in. Ben, shall we have you do one?
Can I do it without any help?
No help.
Yeah.
Can you do one of the back ones?
I'm gonna do this one. How does this clip work? Ow! Oh, it's wet. How do I get that out?
I think pull it.
Oh. Okay. All right.
As he'd managed one spark plug, I made Ben change the rest of the plugs, and then checked if it had fixed any of our lights on the dash.
We had some misfires before, but that is 8 new plugs. I've cleared the engine light and it's now gone. So I think that's that. Again, we will drive it and see if it comes back, but I think we're all good.
Then something rather unexpected happened.
Robin, while out there, he gave the bonnet catch a real good seeing to.
I'll clean it out basically. Would you like me to demonstrate what it has done?
Oh. That's fixed. Also, we have the part. So if it goes wrong, we'll keep the part with us, take the front bumper off, take it all apart and fix it.
So, with me over the moon that I wouldn't have to take apart the entire front end of the car, Robin finished up his detailing work on the Cayenne, and with it looking amazing, I only had a few final things to do.
Edwin has gone on holiday in the middle of January to England, and he said to me that balance would be easy, just a few clips along the rear bumper. What he doesn't realise is that you need to remove the entire rear bumper. Now, that's not the end of the world, but you do need to remove the rear lights and remove approximately 700 million screws and bolts to get to it. So I've had a bodge. With the use of cable ties, I have managed to get this to not poke out and be nasty and horrible. I've managed to use some heat to get that to stick back up in there, and then to stop it happening again, we've fitted a new exhaust pipe as well. That means the hot stuff will come out of here, not go into there. So that is much, much better now. The final thing for the Cayenne, visuals wise, was the wheels. Now these wheels, not only are they black, which doesn't look very nice on this car, but also the paint is starting to flake away. There's a date written on there for some reason. We've got new wheels and new tyres. 1 inch more, silver original wheels, and then we've got some Yokohama Geolando tyres. They came from Tyre Street, so thank you very much to them. But that is already looking way better. Clean calipers, new discs, nice new wheels.
The final job on the Cayenne was to replace some dead bulbs in the headlights, and then it was time to reveal the finished car to Edwin.
And here it is. This is the first time you've seen it.
It is. I mean, what a transformation from what it was.
Silver wheels, no tints, clean bodywork, clean headlights. It is looking a million times better.
Also, you might remember I said something about not wanting to get rid of the battle scars. This is actually my favourite one now. Will, would you like to explain what was that then?
Because the bonnet wouldn't close when we were stuck at a services about 40 miles from the unit, I decided to give it a flying elbow.
A swanton bomb, and I like that he's still there.
Yeah,
I love
he
that.
stays. But bonnet now shuts, and I didn't even have to replace the part. Robin got in there with a brush, degreased it, oiled it again, and now it just works like normal. It's just done a whole journey here, still closed.
It drives nicely now.
Drives absolutely spot on.
Shall we? I mean, we have a track at our disposal. It would be rude not to. I have never known this car to not have the full Christmas tree. It's December all year round in this car.
Did the spark plugs, did the gearbox service, also the indicator bulb as well. After however many miles we've done today, this still hasn't come back. No engine light.
When he goes into gear, he understands what you're saying. He's no longer deliberating. He's going, what is a drive?
Drive. Now, can we speak about driving?
Can we just take a moment? I noticed the bumper looks similar.
The bumper turned out to be a difficult job.
Do you know what I think? I think we actually just bought that as a spare.
We can now afford a little rear ender.
Exactly. Also, this car had the most horrible tints. They were flaking up off the edge. When you put the window down, it would go...
There is a side effect. The glue has been left on the windows, which means there's a nice little creak when you open all the windows.
I've, for a long time, been against floor mats. In this car, I think your decision is right.
I am a little bit annoyed I got the colour match very wrong, and they are lighter beige, which means they're going to get very dirty. But they are floor mats.
I know this might just seem like a stupid old V8 Cayenne that isn't worth putting any of this time or effort into, but this is the Cayenne that has helped TDC live. So it's special to us. A massive shout out to everyone that has helped us. Febby, Tyre Street, Robin, Viking Detail, Neo Tools. Thank you very much for your tools. And now, what do we owe? What's our number?
265,000 miles.
Roll on 300. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week when we do the finale of our Hot Hatch episodes. See you then.